What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the Anabolic Outpost. I am once again continuing the trend of reviewing recipes and continuing the trend even further by doing another Greg Doucette ice cream recipe. This one is titled Chocolate Peanut Butter Protein Ice Cream, and it is also again from his Cookbook 2.0. This is another recipe that I have never tried before, and as you can see from the title, I guess we are getting a chocolate peanut butter anabolic ice cream variation. Just looking at the ingredients, as you can see them all on screen right now, it does look pretty simple for an ice cream recipe, which is kind of why I've strayed away from it based on the other recipes in his book that have like 20 different ingredients. They taste great, but I've been looking for something kind of simple, and I'm going to go ahead and try this one here. With that being said, let me quickly break down the ingredients you will need to make it. The first ingredient is chocolate protein powder. I am using chocolate cupcake from PE Science. Next is the chocolate PB2 powdered peanut butter. Your milk of choice. I believe his book actually calls for almond milk, but we're cheating here and using fat-free milk. Xanthan gum. You knew that one was coming. Sweetener of choice. I'm going with my signature sucralose. And the final ingredient here is cocoa powder. It's anabolic ice cream, so of course you will need your blender to throw all the ingredients together. And first off, I'm throwing in the protein powder, measuring it out at 33 grams. I also forgot to mention, on the cookbook itself, it has 3 separate recipes, but they're all the same recipe in different proportions. I guess I'm making the smaller batch, which is only a scoop of protein powder, but that's plenty of ice cream for me, and perfect on the protein end. I won't go over all the other recipes. It's all the same stuff, except it's varying protein levels, 50 and 66 grams. I don't know why you'd ever want to eat that much protein in one sitting, but I'm going with the smaller one myself. The protein powder is all in there now, so I'm going to go ahead and add the chocolate PB2, measuring that out at 10 grams. Throwing in the xanthan gum, measuring that out at 1.5 grams. In the recipe itself, it calls for 1 packet of sweetener. Not really sure how to convert that with most of his recipes. I'm just guessing, but I'm going to throw in a total of 2 grams of the sucralose. Lastly, for the dry ingredients here is 5 grams of cocoa powder. And for the milk, you will only need 60 grams. The instructions themselves don't say it on the recipe, but I can't help myself, guys. I gotta blend the ingredients before I add the ice. So I will quickly do that now. And I just blended it for about a minute or so. Not too thoroughly, but you can see that it's getting pretty thick in there. That's a very good sign though, because all that's left is to add the ice. In all of Greg Doucette's recipes, he always just mentions ice and never mentions the quantity. I do understand it depends on personal preference, but even just giving a range is nice. So to start off, I'm going to add 200 grams of ice. But just to spoil it for you guys, so you know, I ended up adding some extra ice, totaling it out at 270 grams. And if I were to make it again, I'd probably even go heavier than that, closer to 300 or even 350 if your blender can handle it. Once the ice is in though, you could go ahead and blend away. It's going to take a good 3 to 5 minutes at least to get this all blended together, and also multiple times of scraping the sides with the ice. If you've never made anabolic ice cream before, you will know it is quite the effort to get this done. But it's times like these where you ask yourself, how did they get ice cream back in the day? You guessed right, they churned it, and I could tell you that the process is way more grueling than just scraping the sides of this blender. So get over it and get to your delicious anabolic ice cream that's waiting for you at the end. And here I am adding that extra 70 grams of ice. And roughly 3.5 hours later, we are met with this product here. I'll do the honors and do the blade pull in front of you, and you can see that beautiful ice cream that is now made, courtesy of Coach Greg himself. Before I could even scrape it, I could already see the texture of this ice cream, knowing that I got it right. Sometimes it's really hit or miss for me if I could get the temperature and texture right on my anabolic ice cream. But this one worked out pretty well. I'll still take the credit for that one and not give it to Greg. For the final step here, transferring it out of the blender and into a large bowl for consumption. Here's what we are looking like post blender transfer, and nice little up close view of this ice cream. And if you know Coach Greg at all, he's all about flexibility with these recipes and adding some toppings on there. And I did myself just that, sprinkling on some more of that chocolate PB2 and also some sugar-free chocolate chips. And that is it for the recipe part. Only one thing left now to do. And with that, I'm pretty happy with the results of this recipe. Like I said though, a great anabolic ice cream comes down to the texture and the temperature, and I think I got this pretty right with this recipe. Maybe a little colder like I said, but can't blame Greg on that one as he didn't put the amount of ice, although I still think that he should give a range for the recipe. All in all though, for as simple as this recipe was, I ended up enjoying it a lot more than some of the other recipes I've made that have over 20 ingredients and so many different parts and pieces to them. Sometimes you really just need to go back to simplicity to enjoy the complex things. As far as the flavor itself, I'm pretty pleased with the fact that it's not too overpowering with peanut butter. In Greg's recipes, and a lot of recipes in the community, it's overwhelming with the peanut butter flavor for some of the ones that I make, and I understand that powdered peanut butter stuff can have a lot of protein in there and jack up the macros for a recipe, but I get sick of having that strong peanut butter flavor in anything that I make, so it was refreshing to see that chocolate had the dominant flavor with just a hint of chocolate in the background. So there is my review, and to sum it up, I would make this recipe again, and as far as a rating for the actual recipe goes, overall I give it an 8.8 out of 10. Before I wrap this up too, I'll give you the macros for this recipe, just so you know if you want to make it for yourself. So this small size batch that I made today will come out to a total of 190 calories with 5 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbs, 28 grams of protein, and he's got the fiber listed there at 4 grams. I know it's the volume eating subreddit, this is just a puny bowl of ice cream, but for someone like me that does enjoy a lot of volume in the ice cream, getting a dessert like this for under 200 calories, now granted there is the chocolate chip, so that's probably going to be another 200 calories in itself. It's still insane to get this much volume and flavor in a snack that's under 200 calories. Anyway, that'll wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy the review today, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.